Hi, I'm Brandy. This is Hound Dog Hollow, and today we're going to be doing our second to last ancestor veneration book. It's called Honoring Your Ancestors, not to be confused with the book that I already reviewed, which is Honoring the Ancestors. This is Honoring Your Ancestors, a guide to ancestral veneration by Mallory Vaudois. I hope I'm saying that correctly. And so basically I had a hardcover copy of this book, and I kid you not, I lost it, I believe, at the dentist. And because of just COVID and everything and my working schedule, I haven't been able to get it back, but I was like, I have to finish what I started. And so I bought it on Kindle. And so that's why you see it here on the iPad. I very much like this book. So I've done ancestral medicine. I've done honoring the ancestors. I've done healing ancestral karma. This is the fourth book on ancestral veneration that I've read, and I have one more coming up, and then we're going to move on to a different topic. But I like this one very much because, just like me, this person grew up in a Catholic/Christian household, and so it was a very nice take on how it can fit with any spiritual background or practice. You don't have to abandon any of that. Ancestral veneration is literally for all of us. It's accessible to all of us. It doesn't matter. And she talks about praying and singing and setting up spots to venerate your ancestors. It covers a lot of the information that had been covered in the prior books that I read, but as always, in a different way. Whereas I felt like healing ancestral karma had a lot of shamanism to it, which I absolutely loved. This one is more about just different. I'll walk through it. So this is the author. And does she have any other books? No. So just really briefly, introduction. Who are the ancestors? Healing ancestral trauma, building your altar, making offerings, praying, spiritual hygiene, which is really important. I absolutely love that. They talked about that in honoring the ancestors as well, but I don't feel like they really hammered it home as much in the other two books. So it was very good. Mediumship is for everyone, and this was one of the places where she really shined, where she was talking about how we are getting messages, and so everybody. And mediumship is for everyone means that if your ancestors can speak to you, your ancestors who are spirits, then spirits can speak to you, and that is mediumship. And so it was really, really empowering in that way. And I hadn't thought about this because I get hardcore visual images, not just images, but contact from my ancestors. It started since I was a very small child in dreams. I've always had prophetic dreams. I've always had very, very vivid dreams with people who were not living anymore, or who I shouldn't even know, coming to me in my dreams. I've gotten to the point in my practice where if I'm especially connected to my practice, 3 times this year, 3 times in the last 12 months, I was able to see in the like he looked to be in the physical world. I didn't touch him, my grandfather, with me. And once intensely strong, like I saw him at my table. And that was just like, and she goes about talking about your senses and how those things connect. And it really touched me because looking back, I can see that it was the combination of all of my senses being tuned so profoundly in something that I was doing, which was cooking a traditional meal that my grandfather loved to cook. The smell, the textures, the sights, just like this, it was all just so much of a devotional practice. I was in a trance cutting vegetables, smelling the smells, and I saw him there with me at the table. Clear as day, just like the last time I saw him. And that's something that I haven't really seen in the other books so much. Is just like, there's so many ways to connect, and she really dives deep into that. So mediumship is for everyone. Deeper with mediumship. Herbal allies, I really like. She talks about herbs for ancestral veneration. Calling on your ancestors, some spells, and remembering the future. So it's for her mom. So I'm going to skip through the introduction and just kind of talk about some highlights. So we've already kind of talked about who are the ancestors. You have your blood ancestors, you have your ancestors of place, you have your ancestors of vocation. That's pretty standard across all of the books. Blood ancestors, lineage ancestors, So some ancestors aren't part of your direct bloodline back to mitochondrial Eve, but they feel so close to us that they might as well be. These are your lineage ancestors. So adoption, you know, in-laws, so initiatory lineage. So like when you're initiated into a specific practice of a shamanism or like Santeria or something to that extent. Affinity ancestors, like all nurses would be my ancestors. I could even go so broad as all mothers could be my ancestors. All Puerto Ricans could be my ancestors. Saints, she also includes, which I very much love. And spirit guides. Ghosts, she talks a little bit about related spirits. Land spirits, which are like not super talked about, but very, very important. House spirits, non-human ancestors, and then every chapter has journal prompts and rituals to deepen your practice. So, what do you remember learning about in history, anthropology, or sociology when you were in school? What did those lessons teach you about human nature? Just, this is very broad, but it'll go in deeper. So, you can see these prompts. Healing ancestral trauma. So whereas the other books went through great lengths how you would heal your ancestral trauma, that's not what this book is about. And for that, I'm grateful because I really want to get a broad variety of nuances to this topic, because I've already done it. Ancestral medicine and healing your ancestral karma, and to some extent honoring the ancestors, have all touched on it more than this book does. But I like the different direction that this book takes. So it just talks about facing your ancestral trauma, ritual for elevating your ancestors, which is pretty the same across all 4 books. Making memorial art, which is really different, and I really like that. How to die well, which I feel like is completely underestimated. As a nurse, let me tell you, most people do not prepare for their death, and what you actually think you want is probably to die at home in comfort and peace with your family. But if you don't make yourself an advance directive, people don't make the best decisions when they're desperate. And so they may run a full coat on you when that is not what you wanted. When you wanted peace, when you wanted dignity. And let me tell you, for most people who are very, very old or dying anyway, there is not a whole lot of peace in resuscitation. It is brutal. Your ribs are broken. Your teeth are smashed. It's bad. It's a lot. And especially for somebody who didn't want that anyway. So that's a whole different topic, but it's extremely important. Dying well is extremely important. And as a society that fears death, we do not talk about it near enough when we really should, because we definitely have an idea of how we want to die. And if we don't express that to our loved ones, then we are making our transition into death hard for ourselves, but especially hard for them, because they're the ones who have to deal with seeing us that way, with seeing us suffer, with the aftermath of those feelings of that stress, and just not knowing how we wanted to be laid to rest, and so on and so forth. It's very important. I'm going to zoom through this because a lot of this is more journal prompts, a little redundant. Building your ancestral altar is very much like the other ones that we talked about. So altars are diverse. She did this very broad, and I really appreciate that, because it's really respectful and everybody can participate. Fire, water, cloth, and pictures of your ancestors, holy images, memento moris, how to work with the altar, cleansing, lighting, so on and so forth, offerings, how to consecrate one, and journal prompts. Very direct and to the point, excellent information. Making offerings, basic offerings, coffee and tea, bread, beverages, flowers, sweets, hard liquor and tobacco, toiletries, incense, ex votos, tools, how to give the offerings, libations, food, and then journal prompts again. All of that's very good information. Praying to and for your ancestors, which is a different type of offering, just different prayers, different, singing to them, traditional prayers you might do from different cultures, how to make your own prayers, and other, some of her favorite prayers. So all very good. Journal prompts. spiritual hygiene, how to come at your ancestor altar clean and keep your house clean. She really drove home the cleaning and places where bad energy might lie. So faucets and stoves, doors and windows, you know, the bed, how to clean your house with smoke and floor washes and so on and so forth. Cleansing yourself, spiritual baths, lots of recipes, all very good information. Mediumship is for everyone, just how we connect, how we're getting messages, dispelling myths, general advice, different exercises to work on your mediumship, which is really cool. And then, of course, opening a fist. So just deeper onto that topic with different exercise, different discernment of spirits, different divination, so on and so forth. Just very simple, easy to grasp, super great concepts. Herbal allies for ancestor work, just plants and ancestral veneration, and she goes through each different ones. Bay laurel, dandelion, frankincense, lavender, mint, mugwort, rose, rue, rosemary, and then journal prompts. And so on and so forth. This was a great book. I highly recommend it to you guys. I'm going to try and pull up the cover page, and of course it doesn't want to work right now because I'm trying to show you. But anyways, Honoring Your Ancestors by Mallory Vaudois. Excellent book. I highly recommend it to you. As always, please like, comment, and subscribe. I love you guys so much. I hope you have a wonderful day.